Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Namo Mahabadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratise Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Taruvasya Kripa Sindhu Vya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tamaham bande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Mishwaram. Hare Krishna. I am feeling very, very happy to meet with all of you. Hare Krishna. So I hope, I don't know, remember where we were. Can someone do some little bit of revision? Yes, what we were discussing last class.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah.
So last class we are discussing how to avoid offending Vaishnavas.
Okay.
By hearing glory of Krishna's, we need to be thankful to the Vaishnavas, what they have done for us. And we need to see the Vaishnavas from the spiritual platforms.
Yeah.
And also
one point. Okay, so we need to we discussed about how to avoid Vaishnava Aparadh. We were discussing about the first thing we were discussing, that we have to see Vaishnavas from a spiritual platform. Okay, anyone else? Anything else?
So we discussed about the fortune of getting this human body and how we have got this bhakti, that is also very rare in this form of life.
Yeah.
So we discussed.
Yeah, we were discussing about how getting this rare human form of life is so rare, and we have got this human form of life, which is very, very rare. Yeah, so that's what we were discussing. Anything else?
Anyone? Human life is very, very futile. We need to do our material life, but not at the cost of our spiritual life.
Very good. Yeah, that's a very nice point, Mataji speaking. We were discussing about how fortunate is getting a human birth, and in that human birth, how fortunate is getting association of devotees. In that, how fortunate is after getting association devotees, how fortunate it is to get in touch with Srila Prabhupada and all the right association. We may get association, but we may not get right association. So in that way, it is really fortunate in that regard. So after getting all this fortune, after getting all these things, if we waste the human form of life, then it is not good at all, right? Yeah.
Yes, right. So the one another thing we were discussing the last class, in our scripture, Vaishnava Aparadh is compared as Matta Hathi.
We were discussing about how Vaishnava Aparadh is compared to Hathi Matta. Matta matlab mad elephant offense. That is one thing we were discussing. Yeah. Anyone else?
One more thing we discussed, Prabhuji. that Bharat Maharaj, somebody offended, one king offended Bharat Maharaj, and then he recited the sloka. I am not afraid of Indra, Shiva, Shiva ke Trishul se, Surya, Chandra, Yama. But I am afraid of offending Vaishnava.
Yeah, correct. That's true. Yes. Anything else? Anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji,
Dandavat.
Last point, Prabhuji, you see, we became a devotee by meeting other devotees by chance. It was accident. Nobody had planned this activity. And we suddenly realized that we became fortunate of meeting others. We should realize that and not commit the Vaishnava aparadh. That was the last point.
Yeah, we were discussing that how it's not that childhood we planned that I will become a devotee, I will become sincere, I will learn about Krishna, I will go back to Godhead. Nothing we did planning. Somehow we got association of devotees, and that association we actually became serious. So that means we should understand that it is a very greatly fortunate position we have got somehow by the mercy of Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all those. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yeah.
Yes. If we want to please God, the first thing we have to do is to follow spiritual realization. We have to fulfill the purpose of human form of life, that is spiritual realization. And if we fail to do it, God will snatch this human form of life and give us a lower form of life.
Yeah, that's very nice. So like imagine we were giving an example. Mataji is speaking a very nice point that if we fail to use it in the way that it is being given to us, this human form of life, then what will happen? Krishna is going to snatch it away from us, and Krishna is going to give us something which we can do in a better way. Right? We gave an example. Anyone remember example? We gave one example. Yes.
Farmer
Mercedes and a tractor. We gave an example that someone is giving you a Mercedes and you are using it to plow field. Then he will take away the Mercedes, give you a tractor. Correct? That's what example we were thinking. Very good. Anyone else? Any last point? Anyone remembers? Or we will discuss? Yeah? No one? Okay.
I think when we understand the fortune and futility of human form of life, we will be fearful to not offend Vaishnavas and make sure to utilize this realization.
Yeah, this is the last point we were discussing, that how we should be fearful. And we were discussing one sloka. Anyone remembers that sloka of Maharaj Rahugana? Naham Vishanke Suraraja Vajran. I don't fear Indra's thunderbolt. I do not fear the Trishul of Lord Shiva. I don't fear Agni. I do not fear Soma. I do not fear Neela. I do not fear all these things, but I fear offending Vaishnavas. So we can imagine how fearful is Vaishnava aparadh. Correct? Huh? So, and we were discussing how that by all these weapons we will die once, but by Vaishnava aparadh we will die again and again and again and again. Again and again we have to take birth, which is not proper. So today we will continue, and we will see ahead how when all these discussions happened between Sati and Daksha. So Daksha was like standing like this, as if he is not knowing anything, he is not able to hear anything, he is not able to understand anything. It was like, sometimes you have seen people do not want to hear, do not want, so they will show that they are hearing, but their bodily gestures, their mood, their face, their everything, we will ensure that they are not wanting to hear. Correct? So Daksha was actually not at all interested to hear what our Sati Devi is wanting to tell him, and that is why Daksha was just standing like that. And when Sati understood that there is no point in making, actually Sati came, why Sati came, we were discussing, Sati came to actually make a truce or make some understanding and reduce that misunderstanding. She came for that purpose, and when she saw that it's not going to happen, she dressed herself in saffron garments. I don't know where she got saffron garments. Actually, these people are very, very powerful. It's not that they have to go to Mayapur online or shop somewhere and get some cloth and start wearing it, and go to a trial room and then change and then come and sit down for suicide. It's not like that. They just chant the mantras and then their entire attire is changed. Forget about that. They just can chant mantras and their entire body can get changed. That is the power of these personalities. She is in charge of the material energy. So then she dressed herself in saffron garments and she started meditating. So the meditating on the lotus feet of Lord Shiva, and in that meditation, Sati Devi was actually, see, we have different elements in our body. There is the earth element, there is the fire element, there is the water element, there is the, and all these elements are connected with the global elements. So the fire element of our body is also connected with the global element, and when we connect our fire element of our body through yogic meditation to the global fire element, and we take more and more fire from the global fire element, I don't know what is this procedure, then you burn yourself. This is a civilized way of committing suicide. You know, people don't hang. Sati never hanged in or slit her veins, and she actually sat in yogic posture and she invoked the global fire element to enter her body through the fire element of her body, so that the fire element of her body increases, and finally the body got burnt. In the sense that actually the body was there, the body was not grossly burnt, but subtly the body was burnt. And when actually Sati did like this and she committed suicide, then there was tumultuous sound. Everyone was shouting and roaring. Practically almost everyone was present except Brahma and Vishnu, and Brahma's followers and Vishnu's followers. All others were present in that sacrifice. All demigods, all the directors of this universe, all were present. So when this was done, so this is today's verse, we will read. This is 4th canto, 4th chapter, text number 28. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. So this is 4:28. Okay. Tat pashyatam khe bhuvi chadbhutam mahat.
Tat pashyatam khe bhuvi chadbhutam mahat.
Ha heti vada sumahana jayata. Hanta priyadaiva tamasya devi.
Anta priya daivatamāsya devi.
Jaho ashunke na sati prakopita.
Jaho asunke na sati prakopita.
Tatpashyatam ke bhuvijadbhutam maha.
Tatpashyatam ke bhuvicharbhutam maha.
Ha heti vada sumahana jayata.
Vaheti vada sumahajayata.
Hanta priyadaivatamāsya devi.
Anta priya deva matasya devi.
Jaho asunkena sati prakopita.
Jaho asinkena sati prakopita.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When Sati annihilated her body in anger, there was a tumultuous roar all over the universe. Why had Sati, the wife of the most respectable demigod, Lord Shiva, quit her body in such a manner? There was tumultuous roaring all over the universe in the societies of the demigods of different planets because Sati was the daughter of Daksha, the greatest of all kings, and the wife of Lord Shiva, the greatest of all demigods. Why did she become so angry that she gave up her body? Since she was the daughter of a great personality and wife of a great personality, she had nothing to desire, but still she gave up her body in dissatisfaction. Certainly, this was astonishing. One cannot attain complete satisfaction even if one is situated in the greatest material opulence. So this is the first thing Srila Prabhupada is telling, that one cannot be satisfied no matter whatever situation of material opulence one is situated. So one must understand that Mother Sati and Lord Shiva, they are not like the Jivatmas who are baddha, who are like bounded by their karma, by the karmic reactions. One should not understand that, oh, maybe Sati had committed some karmic reactions, and because of which Sati was born like this as son of daughter of Daksha, and also because of her karmic reactions there was some fight and there was some quarrel. So one should not misunderstand like this. One should understand that these Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati, whatever form Mother Parvati takes, whether Parvati takes in the form of Sati, Parvati may take some other form, Parvati may come as some other, in any other form, and Lord Shiva may take birth as son of Brahma, but Lord Shiva may also take birth like all of us take birth in material world, and Parvati may take birth like all of us take birth. But Lord Shiva and Parvati, they are not like Baddha Jivas. Even Brahma is also a Baddha Jiva. He is the most elevated of all the conditioned souls in the material universe, and he is preparing his life to go back to Godhead. After the end of the life of Brahma, the Brahma goes back to Godhead along with some of his followers. But we must understand that Lord Shiva and Parvati, they are not calculated among the conditioned living entities. In some specific cases, very, 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 very rare cases, extremely rare case, there are certain cases where the living entity is also given a chance to become Lord Shiva. But these are very rare, exceptional cases. Generally, Brahma is a Jivatma, but Lord Shiva and Parvati or Sati, they are not Jivatma. They are a tattva different than the Jivatma, as we had heard in Bhagavad Gita, the Sambhu Tattva and the Sakti Tattva. So we must understand that Lord Shiva and Parvati, they have a specific role to play in the material world. Lord Krishna, along with all his expansions as Vaikuntha Narayan or Ayodhyapati Ram or Dwaraka Krishna or Vrindavan Krishna, all these are expansions of Krishna in the spiritual realm. So that Krishna actually enjoys with all the liberated souls in the spiritual world. Those souls who are conditioned, who want to not stay in the spiritual realm, they want to enjoy separately than the Lord, they are populated in the material world. And then Krishna creates a system in the material world. There is a system of karma, there is a system of getting punishment through yama, there is a system of yajna, dana, tapa, karma. All these systems in material world is created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, there is some sound. Sweta Mataji, mute. So, these systems are created in the material world so that these conditioned living entities can survive without Krishna. They want to enjoy, exploit the material realm, so they are given a chance. Now, problem is, the material world is designed in such a way, that there is no question of again the living entity will come out. Srila Prabhupada was telling one time that one grass in material world and you can research on that grass for eternity. And you can remain conditioned in the material world, remain bound in the material world just by doing research on one small piece of grass. First life you can do research on why the grass looks green. Second life you can do research why the grass grows but it doesn't grow like a tree. You have seen? The tree grows and it grows and the grass also grows, but the grass grows less. Third life you can do a research on grass, why the grass is having a tip like this, what makes it to come tip like this. Fourth life you can do a research on how the grass texture is so soft, and you can create hybrid grass, different types of grass, and in this way one grass is sufficient enough to keep one living entity completely bound up in the material world. Forget about Rasgulla, Gulab Jamun, Bollywood, Hollywood and what not we have created. These are like higher versions of Maya's entanglement, but Maya is so powerful, so strong and so expert in binding the living entity in the material world that we can even get entangled by just doing research on a grass. Hare Krishna. So then what's the hope for the living entity? So the hope is what is mentioned here, that Lord Shiva and Parvati and also sometimes Krishna and Radharani or Lakshmi or Narayan, Sita or Ram, they do these type of pastimes in order to prove something. In order to prove what? Don't stay here in this material world. Don't stay here in this material world. And those fools, like one person went to Srila Prabhupada and said, Swamiji, you are asking some of your followers to renounce this material world and go to spiritual world. If all of your followers and you tell like this and imagine the entire universe, entire world, he had no knowledge about universe, entire world becomes like this, Krishna conscious, and they all go back to God and go to spiritual world, who will stay here, Swamiji? Who will run the office? Who will go to the banks? We have created this wonderful currency, and who will do that? Srila Prabhupada calmly replied, don't worry, some fools will remain like you and they will run the material world. But we are not interested in being counted as fools. We want to go back to Godhead. So we have to understand that in this purport, quoting from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here that you see that Sati had the highest of the material position that one can imagine in life. For a lady to be born from Daksha, for a lady, two personalities are very, very important. One is father, one is husband. Correct? Lady is very, very attached to the father, and the lady is very attached to the husband. And the lady is very proud of the father, and the lady is very proud of the husband. Now, for a lady, having a father like Daksha, who is the main person whom everyone respects, except Brahma and Shiva and Vishnu, everyone was respecting Daksha. Such a high position, daughter of Daksha. And forget about that, wife of Lord Shiva. Can you imagine? What a position. But even that position in the material world only creates dissatisfaction, problems, and that is why this story and pastime is created. Just so that all other demigods, all other demigoddess, all other semi-gods, all other, like Chaitanya Charan Prabhu used to tell, there are demigods, those who are devatas, and there is semi-god, semi-god. So all these personalities, they will come to understand one thing, that this material world, no matter whatever I am going to do, it is going to remain the same. There is no point in too much endeavoring to change this material world. It will not create, and it has never created, and it will not going to create, and it will never create a situation of satisfaction in my life. This principle, if we become serious, this one statement what Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, let me say it again. Okay, just here. One cannot attain complete satisfaction even if one is situated in the greatest of the material opulence. If we can simply realize this statement, then we'll become very, very serious in Krishna consciousness. We'll become very, we'll understand that how this Krishna consciousness is an urgent and serious thing that we need to perform. It's not that, okay, tomorrow I'll become serious, day after tomorrow I'll become serious. Like Friday morning I was giving Bhagavatam class in the temple. So I was talking about procrastination, how we keep on procrastinating, postponing, that tomorrow I will chant nicely, tomorrow I'll chant nicely, tomorrow I'll chant nicely, and that tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow I'll read Srimad Bhagavatam nicely, and that tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow I'll hear nicely, that tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow I will surrender to Guru, that tomorrow never comes. And like this, we keep on postponing, and we have postponed our returning back to spiritual world from so many lifetimes. My sister said, when I said ki I am going to join like this, become a sannyasi, and my sister said, this life, you can get married and we can have a nice family, and next life you do like this. No problem. Next life we can do like this. I said, I have been doing so many lifetimes. So many sisters have told me this, and just to please them I have told, and this is not going to come. This life itself I am going to renounce and go back to spiritual world. I am not telling all of you to become sannyasi, but what I am telling, that one should live always in this material world with a detached spirit. Srila Prabhupada used to always say that one should live in this material world in a detached disposition, in a detached spirit of working. One should not be overly enthusiastic about material world. Anyone who is overly enthusiastic about material world, he or she is the fit candidate for becoming a play toy in the hands of material energy. You have seen play toy? ऐसे करके चाबी घुमाते हैं. You have seen the bandar, and then there will be drum also, ting 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 ting. So more will become very enthusiastic about the material world and have a very optimistic view about the material world, and have a very, oh wow, this material world, so nice, such nice advancement human beings have done. Like sometimes people come to me and say, what you see, Prabhuji, metros are everywhere and we are flying here and there, going to do this, that, and we are creating such satellite communication, this, that, so many things, bro. What an advancement! Then I say, arey, this advancement, this is Jantra Vidya. In Mahabharata, if you read, Mayadana was also trying to teach this advancement of Jantra, and Krishna said, this Jantra Vidya is for the fool number one, Kali Yuga Vasis. You have already Mantra Vidya, don't take up this Jantra Vidya. So what advancement we are seeing about this Jantra Vidya, putting a camera, putting some zoom, and all of you are sitting in different parts of the world and you are hearing classes. Oh, wow! Kaise kar diya? What not they have done? My goodness, the scientists are... Only a fool will get fascinated about the material world. Only a fool, number one, will get fascinated, just like a rat. When we used to stay in Albert Road Temple, when first time I came to Albert Road Temple, and we were sleeping in that place in mosquito net. It is way back in 2008. His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj was supposed to come. March 6, I think, the first time Maharaj came to Calcutta. So we had gone, we had slept in Bhaktivedanta Hall, and morning when I got up, my toe, feet ka toe, it had completely swollen up, and then there was like blood coming out, and many devotees had the same experience. It was cut. And what had happened? There were big, this much big size rats in temple, this much. The rats were more bigger than the cats. So that was the situation. Even in Chowpatty also, when Maharaj had shifted in 1987, Maharaj used to tell that that time they had brought a cat to drive away the rats. But the cat was missing. The cat was missing. And Maharaj said that there were 3 rats who had actually kidnapped the cat, and the cat was being kidnapped by the rats, and the rats were making, like, you see how sometimes the dons and underworld don, they will kidnap you and then you will be trembling. And then Maharaj said we had to rescue the cat from the rats. That was 1987 ISKCON Chowpatty, when Maharaj came for the first time. And when we had also come to Albert Road, because Albert Road also had a very bad history, so it was so dirty, so dirty, so dirty. The DT outfits, the place, it's so dirty, and so much of rats. So the point what I was trying to make is that this material world, only a fool will make it very, very... And now we have created all these facilities and all those things, but we should understand this material world is simply created to make us forget about the spiritual realm. And then what we did was we created a trap. And in that trap, we kept Mahaprasad. And that Mahaprasad was dipped with ghee and it was smelling like anything. And the rat went and saw, every time I have to go and somehow sneak in and get some Mahaprasad, but today the Mahaprasad is hanging like anything. Just imagine, which fool number one has hanged the Mahaprasad like this? Such a fool, these human beings have become so fool. And then the rat entered and started taking, and what will happen if you take the Mahaprasad? You are trapped. So that is how material energy is designed. Material energy has designed the trap for those who get fascinated about it. That is how it is. The theory, the philosophy of trapping you in material energy is first to fascinate you. What is the word? Fascinate you. So you get really fascinated by the material energy, and those who get fascinated, then they are entering the trap of the material energy. So one should think that one should not just think, it is actually a fact. One should align to this fact. It's not that it's our belief, it's our thinking. It is Sati Devi who is in charge of the material energy. She is claiming. And as responsible spiritual aspirants, we should be convinced of this fact and not have very high estimation about this material realm. And then only we can become serious in Krishna consciousness, because material sense gratification and spiritual realization go almost diametrically opposite direction. So if we really have to become serious, we have to understand that definitely some basic needs of material accomplishments or security and stability is required, but we should not think to make a big empire in this material world, big empire, and to show to the world ki dekho maine kar dikhaya, I was from the rags and I have reached the riches. Hare Krishna. Right? People have this, the stories, my story, and then they write books that kahan mein tha, kahan chala gaya. Like recently from LinkedIn, I got a message. Someone had posted something, so it came as a mailer to me, and then I opened it, and it was written that one person went to Mumbai and he was doing something, and now he is a multi-billion dollar owner of a multi-billion dollar company. Just see. Hare Krishna. Similarly, people write the stories about different personalities who were successful like this. But actually, what is the use of success? It all goes and becomes dust at the end of life. So that is why we should understand that Mother Parvati, Sati, and Lord Shiva performed this pastime to specifically give lesson to all of us that no matter whatever position you may get in this material world, it's going to end up in simply dissatisfaction and frustration. If you are not endeavoring to enter the spiritual realm and seriously, this is the basic framework of the design of the material world, to frustrate the attempts of the living entity to enjoy and exploit. If you believe in it, if you really accept this fact, then we are all happy. We will, whatever happens, oh, this is what's supposed to happen. If something good happens in this material world, think, अरे इतना अच्छा कैसे हो रहा है? Sometimes we are opposite. कुछ खराब हुआ तो we think, अरे इतना खराब कैसे हो जा रहा है? Actually कुछ अच्छा होता है तो हमको सर खुजलाना चाहिए. कुछ तो गड़बड़ है. Something is wrong. Something is wrong out here. How things are all in place. This is not the place to be things in place. Kya gadbad hai, kya gadbad hai? So we should have this type of mentality in a detached disposition. Hare Krishna, we have done enough. Let's really move to our home, the spiritual world. And not just move, let me take my husband, let me take my wife, let me take my children, let me take as much as possible with me and inspire as many as possible. Like when we have understood that this material world is a place, we should really become enthusiastic to just like yeah, I remember there was something called the Golden Forest scheme. My father had done or something. So it was a scam, some sort of scam or something that happened. So they had taken a lot of money and they said, we will make it double in just 1 year, 2 year, like that, and then it will again become double and double and double and double, and they didn't got their money which they deposited back also. Forget about double. So there is a Golden Forest scheme and everything. So when my father realized, Arey Bapre, they're not going to give anything. So immediately what my father did, started propagating it, like, because he's a teacher. You know, teachers have big mouth. Everyone, and in all the students, he used to tell, and the students used to tell, go and ask, check with your father whether he has invested in Golden Forest or this and that. These are all quack, these are all scam. Be very, very careful. Why? Because he has understood that this is a scam and he wants to help others. So similarly, we have to understand this material world is a scam. It's a scam designed to trap us. And once one is understanding this, one should be very enthusiastic to become serious in Krishna consciousness and also propagate Krishna consciousness, preach Krishna consciousness, and get as much as people in the boat of spiritual realization and go back to Godhead. That's what Srila Prabhupada is mentioning from this statement. We will go ahead and complete the purport. There was nothing Sati could not achieve either from her relationship with her father or from her relationship with the greatest of demigods, Lord Shiva. But still, for some reason, she was dissatisfied. Just imagine what Srila Prabhupada is telling. There was nothing that Sati could not achieve. Can you imagine being a wife of Lord Shiva? Amazon, Flipkart, and IKEA, and all, whatever you want. You are whatever gold, whatever silver, whatever you want, whatever platinum, whatever diamonds, whichever place, everything is at your disposition. You are wife of Lord Shiva. People, ladies pray to Lord Shiva to get a good husband. Just imagine, this is the situation of the wife of the Lord Shiva. So one should understand whether one is having a best wife or best husband or best son, nothing is going to add to one's satisfaction in this material world. Yeah, so that's what is being mentioned. There is nothing that one could not achieve in this relationship. But still, for some reason, she was dissatisfied. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.6 explain that one has to achieve real satisfaction, ye atma suprasidati, but the atma, the body, mind and soul, all become completely satisfied only if one develops devotional service to the absolute truth. Savai pumsa paro dharma yato bhaktir adhokshaje. Adhokshaja means the absolute truth. If one can develop his unflinching, this is a very nice statement Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, if one can develop his unflinching love for the transcendental Supreme Personality of Godhead, that can give complete satisfaction. Otherwise, there is no possibility of satisfaction in the material world or anywhere else. Hare Krishna. So, I repeat, if one can develop his unflinching love for the transcendental Supreme Personality of Godhead, that can give complete satisfaction. Otherwise, there is no possibility of satisfaction in the material world or anywhere else. So all of you can remember these two statements. This is the first statement, that one cannot attain complete satisfaction even if one is situated in the greatest material opulence. And second statement, if one can develop his unflinching love for the transcendental Supreme Personality of Godhead, that can give complete satisfaction. Otherwise, there is no possibility of satisfaction in the material world or anywhere else. I request all devotees to repeat along with me. One cannot, please repeat.
One cannot
attain complete satisfaction.
Attain complete satisfaction.
Even if
Even
one is situated
if
in the greatest material opulence.
in the greatest material opulence.
If one can develop
If one can develop
his unflinching love
His unflinching love
for the transcendental Supreme Personality of Godhead,
for the transcendental Supreme Personality of Godhead,
that can give complete satisfaction.
that can give complete satisfaction.
Otherwise,
Otherwise,
there is no possibility
there is no possibility
of satisfaction
of satisfaction
in the material world
in the material world
or anywhere else.
or anywhere else.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. So I request some devotees can put this two statements in the group, but we must understand that these two statements should become as beacon light for becoming very, very serious in Krishna consciousness and make us understand that this is designed, it's a design to actually keep us more and more entangled, more and more bounded, and more miserable. So we must understand, by coming to Krishna consciousness, we are actually receiving a great fortune, a great relief, that we can actually make this life as our last life in this material world and go back to Godhead by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that is why let us not waste even a moment in material empire build up. We'll build this, we'll build that, we'll do that, we will do that, and we'll that, and then this, and then that, and then that, and then this, that, and that. So that is how actually the living entity gets trapped and more entangled. So the philosophy of Krishna consciousness actually is very, very simple, very, very simple. Don't complicate your material life and increase your spiritual commitments. So no complications in material life and serious commitments in spiritual life. This is very simple philosophy, that we should make our material life as simple as possible, and whatever is basic required, we must see that sometimes people think, oh, this life I will accumulate so much that 7 generations मेरे साथ पुरख तक खाने के लिए मैं रख दिया प्रभु जी, कुछ टेंशन नहीं है. अरे तुम नालायक, 7 पुरुष तक तुम नरक में जाके चक्की पेसेगा, 7 पुरुष तक मैं रख दिया. So people have these type of things, that what my son will have, what properties my son will have, what properties my grandson will have, what properties the great grandson will have. What is we should have basic material stability, and we should definitely work for the basic material stability, but we should never have a plan to build an empire in this material world. we see Daksha building an empire. And what happened? So when all these things happen and all these things are happening, then Narad Muni comes. Narad Muni sees all from the height, all the things. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, and Srila Prabhupada also mentions in the first verse of the next chapter. This chapter is going to end. This chapter ends by when Sati committed suicide, all the people who had come with Sati, you remember, Sati was accompanied by a lot of people, they started attacking Daksha and followers. And Bhrigu Muni started offering oblations, and when Bhrigu Muni was offering oblations like this, so some Rubhu demigods came, and these Rubhu demigods fled away. They were attacking these yakshas, the ghosts and hobgoblins, and when they attacked the hobgoblins, they all fled away. And Narad Muni reported this. You know what happened? Your wife is no more. Lord Shiva, when he heard that Sati is no more, and what happened to Sati? This happened, you know, she was not given respect, and she was not at all, you know, Narad Muni is expert in adding spice to the pastime, you know, because Narad Muni understands what is required now for the pastime to go ahead, what is required. So Narad Muni says, oh, this like this, oh yeah. And as soon as Lord Shiva heard, he was sitting peacefully, he got up and he started smiling, he started biting his lips, and while biting his lips and smiling, he took one of his hair out and he put that hair on the ground and he started laughing. And from that one single strand of hair, our hair goes and falls so many places, nothing happens. Lord Shiva's hair, one strand of Lord Shiva's hair created one big demon. His head was in clouds and his hairs were standing like this, like copper wares. You can imagine that figure. His hairs were like copper wares, and all the copper wares are burning, emanating fire from the head. And he was black, he was holding a trident, and he was shouting, and he was jet black in color. And then he asked, his name was Birabhadra, and he asked Lord Shiva, what can I do? Lord Shiva said, destroy the sacrifice of Daksha and kill Daksha. And then Birabhadra goes, and when actually all the Lord Shiva's followers had returned back, feeling dissatisfied that they kuch kar nahi paaye, when they saw Birabhadra, they got renewed enthusiasm. And they also started following Birabhadra, and Birabhadra was going, and then all the Lord Shiva's followers joined, and along with Birabhadra, and then Daksha, in the Yajna of Daksha, they are able to see dust storm, you know, Bhavandar. And Daksha and all the demigods are in charge there. Vayudev is also there. He is saying, Hare, I have not created this Bhavandar. How come this has come? And Vayu is looking at Agni. You have done something. Agni said, I don't know. Agni is telling to Varuna, tsunami aa raha hai. नहीं, tsunami तो मैंने fix नहीं किया, schedule नहीं किया. So, and they are looking at Dharitri, are you doing any earthquake? No. So then all are looking to Indra. They are looking, Arey Indra, is some wrong king is there? So because a lot of thieves are coming, and that's why no one was able to understand what is this dust storm. Imagine the most powerful demigods, they are speculating what can be this. So then Shukadeva Goswami says, Prasuti, the wife of Daksha, the mother of Sati, she understood. This is Lord Shiva has done something because my daughter died, and Lord Shiva is very powerful. Prasuti says in the next chapter, if you read the translation, she says Lord Shiva's anger can kill Brahma and annihilate all the planets, and we have angered him, and it's going to be very serious now. And within what Prasuti said, just she completed those statements, this dust storm could be visible now, and the front face of the dust storm was Birabhadra. Like this, Birabhadra was shouting, not so softly. And all the followers were, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And then Birabhadra was telling, Anna Shivaya. And with roaring sound, they were just coming. And they immediately took charge of the entire sacrifice. They broke all the pillars. And when the pillars broke, the canopies of the pandal, they started falling on the ladies, and the ladies were running here and there, and they captured all the ladies. Some were showing teeth to the ladies, some were trying to threaten the ladies. Your husband will be killed and we will make you widow. Like this, they used to make all this shout at the ladies. Then Birabhadra caught Daksha. Then someone caught Bhrigu, someone caught Pusa, someone caught Bhaga. All the main powerful demigods and the Brahmanas, everyone was caught. And Bhrigu's mustache was, it was done a saving with the nail of one demon. He just he caught the mustache of Bhrigu, and then there was blood and no mustache, only in the hand mustache. Hare Krishna. This was condition of Bhrigu. And then he left Bhrigu and he was like going. And then there was Pusa. So Birabhadra caught Pusa like this, and he knocked, and he extracted entire tooth of Pusa and threw it and left Pusa. दांत दिखाया था शिव जी को, ये लो दांत तुम्हारा, दिखाओ सबको. And then he actually caught Bhaga, and Bhaga actually had shown his eyes to Lord Shiva, scornful eyes, like this he had shown. So he caught Bhaga and he extracted both the eyes and gave Bhaga on the hand. Khelo, play. And then Birabhadra caught Daksha. Daksha was trying to fly away here and there. Birabhadra caught Daksha and sat over him like this. And his head he was trying to twist from this direction, that direction, trying to remove his head from this torso. And he was sitting on the chest of Daksha. Just imagine what would be happening to Daksha. Sukadeva Goswami gave graphic representation. You read that entire next chapter. Very, very graphic representation of how the attackers had done. So, Birabhadra, such a big demon, and Daksha was small size, he was sitting on the chest of Daksha, and he was trying to twist his head and trying to do like this, and just like sometimes we are taking out the lid of the can, sometimes ऐसे घुमाओ किसी तरह can से निकल नहीं रहा है, like that. He was trying to twist, and he was bewildered. It is not coming out only. What is this made of? Which material? And then he started taking lot of weapons and cutting this, that, and he sat over Daksha's chest and started meditating and chanting mantras so that the head is coming out, but nothing happened and the head was still connected with Daksha. And just imagine what would be happening to Daksha. And all the while Birabhadra was sitting on the chest of Daksha, chanting mantras, doing meditation so that the head comes out, twirling, twisting, beating. Already teeth has come out. First the teeth was taken out because through that mouth he spoke ill words to Lord Shiva. So first the teeth was come out, but the head was not coming out. And then Birabhadra caught the neck like this of Daksha, dragged him to a place where there was a big axe rotating. Just like in Gosala we have for cutting the straw. So like that. And he put the head of Daksha in that, and he started rotating in his hand, and then Daksha's head came out. And then he started playing with the head, tick, 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 tick. And then he played with the head and threw it on the sacrificial fire which was burning, and Daksha's head started burning in that fire. And then after doing all these things, all the followers and Birabhadra returned back to Lord Shiva. Mission accomplished. Hare Krishna, and Birabhadra disappeared. Hare Krishna. This is the power of Vaishnava Aparadh. So we must understand. Daksha, this is what happened, and I don't know what the ladies, whichever demigods started flying, fleeing here and there. Some demigods had power to actually become invisible. Some didn't got actually to become invisible. You have to chant mantras, na? Some demigods could not get time to complete the mantra. Before they became invisible, they are caught. Some demigods somehow got some time to complete the mantra and they became invisible, they flew away. So somehow or other, whoever was left, and some were injured, those whose eyes were plugged, those whose teeth were gone out, those whose hands were broken, somehow or other they got some strength and went to Brahma. And Brahma, and Sukadeva Goswami says, this is the next chapter. Sukadeva Goswami says, Brahma and Vishnu knew that this is going to happen. They never went to that sacrifice. And then Brahma gives good advice to the demigods that by offending great souls, one cannot achieve anything. One will achieve only destruction in life. And then Brahma says, but Lord Shiva is such a Vaishnava. He is the greatest of Vaishnava. He can forgive you if you go without mental reservations and surrender to him. He will forgive you. And then Lord Shiva, then all the demigods along with Brahma, they go to Kailas. So from next class we will see the description of Kailas, and we will see the interactions between Brahma and Lord Shiva, and then Daksha will complete the sacrifice and Vishnu will again appear. And what instructions Lord Vishnu gives to Daksha, we will hear that. But today's basic focus was Srila Prabhupada speaking that no matter whoever we are, we should understand that this material world is a dangerous place, and we should never make a plan to stay in material world. And second thing, we should be very, very careful of Vaishnava Aparadh, no matter whoever we are, in whatever position. We must always be respectful and humble, and then there is no fear in our spiritual life. We can go back to Godhead easily. Okay, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anyone has any question? Can ask. Yes, Tarun Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
So, Prabhuji, we discussed that most of the cases, Lord Shiva is Shambhu Tattva and Jeev Tattva is there. So, in what specific rare cases you mentioned that Jivas can also become Lord Shiva?
Yeah.
What were those cases?
So, sometimes a Jiva has a great desire, and he is also qualified. He has a great desire to actually assist the Lord in Pralaya. Actually, hearing about Pralaya, how the Pralaya happens, seeing the Pralaya, these are not good desires. Kaise Pralaya hota hai, how it happens, how the destruction happens. And he develops that desire, and he also develops the desire to assist Lord in Pralaya. Just like Daksha, who becomes a Daksha, who develops a strong desire to assist Lord in creation. Then Lord gives him empowerment, how to create. Lord gives him facilities, how to create material creation and all those things. Similarly, if a living entity has too much desire to assist Lord Shiva in destruction, sometimes he may become a follower of Lord Shiva, but sometimes if he is so powerful and he has a lot of qualifications and all, he is a great worshipper of Vishnu, but though he is a great worshipper of Vishnu, he doesn't want to go to spiritual world. He wants to do this service. So then Vishnu may empower him to become Lord Shiva, but as far as Vaishnavas are concerned, this is not a right desire, right disposition. Our desires also should be in line with with the Guru Parampara. Guru Parampara has told that these are the desires which you can desire even in devotional service, and these are the desires which we should not desire. But then there are certain special souls who are great worshippers of Vishnu, but they want to assist Vishnu in the process of destruction. They sometimes, very rarely, it may be like 0.00001% cases somewhere, their living entity is given a chance. It's a very rare cosmic phenomenon. Okay.
But they remain Jiva Tattva only.
Yeah, they remain Jiva Tattva. They complete their work and they get frustrated कि इसमें भी आनंद नहीं है. Then they will go back to spiritual world. Like Brahma. So he is Jiva Tattva. He gets a post of Brahma. Oh, इतना मुश्किल है, इतना झमेला है, so much of entanglement, so much of janjal. And then Brahma gets involved in spiritual activities. He creates and until unless he is called for, he doesn't go anywhere. He does his bhajan and then he goes back to Godhead. So like that, one after becoming Lord Shiva, he will go back to Godhead based on his inclination, where he wants to go, either Vrindavan, Vaikuntha, Sankarshan Lok, wherever. Okay, yes. Who else? Yes, Udit Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So my question is, you said that Prabhupada is saying that material satisfaction you cannot, will not get satisfaction through if you are situated in material opulence. So my question is, Prabhu, in our imparting our day-to-day activities, we know that from one point we don't have to be involved into material things, but on the other hand we cannot avoid it also. So sometimes when we are with material world, we do feel how can we remain motivated and still perform our materialistic duty and still be situated in a transcendental or in a spiritual platform, because we are not interested in doing those things, but still we have to do it, and we come in contact with those people, but ultimately we want to perform spiritual activities. So these kind of contradiction comes. So remain motivated in doing material activities. So how we can do?
Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Bhakti Vinod Thakur was a grihastha, he was not a sannyasi. Tomar anugrahe ami bhunjana. I will enjoy the material resource as much as that is sanctioned by you, O my Lord. Bhakti Vinod Thakur has written in a song. So one should understand the material enjoyment has to be sanctioned by some superior authorities, by okay, this much material things is fine for me, this much material stability is fine for me. Not that we ourselves decide, oh, this I should do this, I should do that, I should do that, and then we will definitely land up into a trap. But imagine our superiors or Krishna sanction certain amount of material things for us. So we work in that boundaries of that material sanction. And even in that boundary of material sanction, we should also sanctify the material enjoyment. We do we give a part of the material enjoyment and try to see how it can serve Krishna. Like imagine we are working somewhere in a company, we have some employees under us, they're reporting to us. So, and that is sanctioned by Krishna. Yes, you can work and you get some salary. But how to make it sanctified? Use your employees who are reporting to you to try to connect them to Krishna. And you have to give some gifts to them. You give them spiritual gifts. You call some, you are in charge of an entire office and 200 employees are reporting to you, and you arrange a seminar from to the 200 employees by one devotee, and he gives a seminar. So in this way, it's not that it is sanctioned, it has to be also sanctified by connecting it to Krishna. But we should not accept anything material without sanction. We should clearly say, understand that sanction is required. If we go too beyond sanction and we think, oh, this is my material life, I need to plan out properly. Yes, we plan out properly our material life, but we should keep it, ensure that we sanction it from our superiors. And if we have such trustworthy superiors whom we have trust, and with that we can enjoy the material world or whatever is required for the material stability under proper sanction and supervision and sanctifying it, then we have no fear. Because in Grihastha ashram, material necessities are required. We Grihasthas are not supposed to stay like sannyasis, and sannyasis are not supposed to stay like Grihasthas. Sannyasis are not supposed to keep any savings. That's why I do not have any bank account, no savings. Whatever I have, I am using, it's all under ISKCON's name. At any time, any point of time, ISKCON can just say that you can go away, and I am fine with it. So that is meaning of a sannyasi. I may be using car, but car is in ISKCON's name. I may be using mobile, it is in ISKCON's name. I may be using a laptop, it is in ISKCON's name. And if ISKCON says to me to go, I will not take any of the thing, because all ISKCON's property, Krishna's property. It is nothing my property. I have only one property that my Gurudev has given, my bead bag, and I have to wear one dhoti kurta after while leaving ISKCON. So I will leave with one dhoti kurta and bead bag. That's it. So one should understand that a sannyasi should live like this. He may use certain things, but he claims proprietorship of nothing, and he doesn't save anything. But a grihastha cannot do like this. A grihastha should create a boundary of sanction. Okay, these are my sanctioned material resources. This much I should have, and one should not keep within that sanction. Right? If I can be happy with a 2 BHK flat, let me stay in a 2 BHK flat and not try to aspire for a big bungalow and then take a big loan to for the bungalow, and then whole life work like a donkey to ensure that the big bungalow is the loan is cleared. And after that, what will happen? You will become a donkey, and your son you will get the big bungalow just like that. You will inherit the property, and because you have worked like a donkey, you didn't focus on your son's giving spiritual nourishment to the son, and the son has seen you running only for material life. He will also run for the material life, and he will use all these things what you have inherited again in material things. So one should have a proper sanction in life, or this much I should sanction. How to know how much is sanctioned? It is very, very individual. And that is why we require trustworthy superiors, and we also require, really need to also introspect. What is the goal of my life? The goal of my life should be spiritual accomplishments, and how much you will, there is no end for material accomplishments. There is no end. People, I'll tell you, devotees, not just people, outside people, I mean devotees, they have flat in different cities. Why? Because we really don't know which city we will settle, you know. And they have flats near ISKCON temple of each city. In Pune, in Calcutta, in Mumbai, and they have created flats because we really don't know where we will settle. And we require some savings, you know. We need to be stable. There is no, even if you get flat in all the cities of India, still you will feel a vacuum. The vacuum is not because you have 10 flats and other person is having 20 flats. The vacuum is because you are not practicing Krishna consciousness nicely. If one is practicing Krishna consciousness nicely, even if he doesn't have a flat, he is happy. Oh, Krishna will take care. But if he is not practicing Krishna consciousness, even if he has flat in all the cities of India, he will still feel a vacuum. I am not telling that flat is not required or a house of residence is not required. But sometimes we go much beyond. That is why Grihasthas should always remain subservient to the renounced order. Why the Grihasthas are asked to put again and again Dandavat to the renounced order? So that the principle of renunciation is intact in the Grihastha ashram, because there is always chance in the Grihastha ashram to go astray in the completely different direction where there is no detachment. And that is why Grihasthas are supposed to be always under the renounced order, and renounced order should always remain renounced and not have some hidden, oh, I am now thinking, how do I become stable? Oh, so these grihasthas are supporting me and they are arranging some prasadam for me. What if these grihasthas are not there? These grihasthas are not there. Someone else Krishna will send. Krishna will send Krishna can send anyone. When these three couples had gone to London, they were staying in a flat, and they had got some money which they had arranged to give rent to that flat. Our Janaki Mataji, Gurudas Prabhu, Malti Mataji, Sam Sundar Prabhu, and who else? Mukund Prabhu and one more. So the 6 couples were there. Yamuna Mataji and Gurudas Prabhu, I think, Mukund Prabhu and Janaki Mataji, like that. 3 couples had gone to London from San Francisco to start preaching in London. And they were staying in a flat. They had no idea, no clue where to get money to pay the rent. And the tenant, the owner was telling, you have to pay or you vacate the flat. And then they were sitting and chanting in the park. And in the park, money started flying. Somewhere from where we don't know, the dollar came. And they caught that dollar and they saw the exact amount of money for the flat rent has come. And they stayed for one more month. And then after that they met George Harrison, and George Harrison gave some money and donations and all. It's a very nice story actually, 22nd Avenue. If you read, you'll get a lot of faith how Krishna actually protects. Gaur Nitai protects the preacher of Krishna consciousness. Very nice. And then they said they got some support, lot of support in London and all those things. Similarly, Hari Vilas Prabhu, he was sharing that he was temple president in one place and there was nothing in the temple except him. There is no resource, nothing, and they had no clue of how to also give the rent, and somehow it was hand to mouth. And Srila Prabhupada writes a telegram that I am coming. And Srila Prabhupada is coming means lot of expense. And he was wondering, how do I manage, and I have no money to, and Srila Prabhupada is coming, and if Srila Prabhupada comes, so many disciples will also come, na? You have to feed them. You cannot say, 10 rupees de do, prasadam coupon. And you cannot do like that. And how do I feed them? And like that he was, and whole morning he got up and he had received day before yesterday night. Whole morning he was chanting and thinking, where is money, where is money, where is money? Morning program got over and he was very, very disturbed from where I'll get money. He was thinking maybe I can go today and do some part-time job and get some money, and by that I can feed all the devotees who are coming along with Srila Prabhupada. He was just about to depart. Then one devotee who was attending the morning program, all the Aarti classes got over, he saw there is a packet in a brown color paper packet is there. And he came, and this is someone's, and in that so much of dollars were there. And Hari Vilas Prabhu said, after getting those dollars and not finding the owner of the dollars, whole life I never aspire for dollars. I know when dollars will be required, Krishna will send the dollars to me at the right time. So in this way, if we surrender to Krishna, we understand Krishna is actually not Lakshmipati. Vishnu is Lakshmipati. Krishna is Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Sambrama Sevyamanam. Sahasra Lakshmi, they are interested to serve Krishna, but they are not able to serve Krishna. So that is why Lakshmi, they want to serve Krishna's devotees, because they cannot serve Krishna. If we are going Vrindavan, there is a place called Shriban or Belban, where Lakshmi ji is in yogic posture trying to enter Shri Vrindavan Dham, but they cannot enter Vrindavan Dham. Because Lakshmi cannot enter Shri Vrindavan Dham, that's why Lakshmi's wants to serve the devotees of Krishna and help Krishna's devotee propagate the message of Krishna consciousness. So we must understand that if we really practice Krishna consciousness seriously, sincerely, we'll have no problem of Lakshmi. Only thing is that we should practice Krishna consciousness nicely. The problem is we want to endeavor and get something. I am not telling that you leave job and see how Lakshmi supports you. That is ridiculous. That is childish behavior. We should not try to unnecessarily take service from Lakshmi Devi. We have to actually serve Lakshmi. But if we want to serve Krishna, we must understand we have all power with us. We have the power of the entire cosmic manifestation with us. And devotees have done like this. And they have proved, and their stories are there for us. And if we follow their footsteps, we will also get the help. So in that way, we should have this faith. And after having the faith, we should try to do all the endeavors for making our material life stable without trying to make an extravagance. And after doing that, in case we are facing some difficulty, then Krishna is always there to help us. We must be rest assured. Krishna is always there. Krishna is always there. Just what is missing is our sincere desire to serve Krishna. That is the only thing that is missing. Otherwise, the entire creation is there for serving the devotees of Krishna. Okay, like Detroit Fisher Mansion. So devotees saw there is a sale board written, Detroit Fisher Mansion is being sold. It was a big property actually in Detroit. And devotees informed Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada immediately came to see the property. And Srila Prabhupada, along with his disciples, the owner of the property, he had already heard that Swamiji is with George Harrison and all those. Swamiji has a lot of property, money and all those things. And then he was going and seeing all the entire mansion. The mansion had gold-plated hose pipes and taps, bathroom taps. that was Detroit Fisher Mansion, and he himself was sewing and everything. And Srila Prabhupada was very happy seeing the situation. Oh, this is such a great, we'll have a big temple here. This is where we'll have the temple hall. Yes. And all the devotees, yes, Prabhupada. And this is where we will congregate for prasadam. This is where will be kitchen. This is where you will stay, Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada, this is where the brahmacharis will stay. This is where the brahmacharinis will stay. All devotees were so fascinated and everything. And this owner was also feeling, wow, my deed is done, everything. And then in the end, Srila Prabhupada said, look, we are beggars. Wherever we go, we just beg. So what do you mean? Now give it for free. And the owner was like, free? It is my entire savings of the life, free. And then this Srila Prabhupada said, okay, whatever you can, but we cannot give more than, he had given some amount, X. Prabhupada said, more than X by 2, that is 50% of that only we can give, and you give us the mansion. And then he said, okay, I will think and all. And then he went. And then somehow what happened? Krishna inspired that owner that, yes, I am ready to give in 50% to all of you. You are doing good work. And Srila Prabhupada said, immediately send the check of 50%, immediately get it signed. And they signed immediately, sent the check immediately that day itself. And the next day, he said, what happened yesterday? My mind was some disturb or something. I did something and I cannot. And Srila Prabhupada said, deed is done. It is ours now. Hare Krishna, take the 50% Lakshmi, be happy. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. So we should understand Krishna is sitting in the heart of everyone. And we should understand this fact. And Krishna is in control, not we are in control, our boss is in control, or some owner is in control. And if we serve Krishna nicely, entire cosmic manifestation is trying to support us. Okay? Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yes, Sanjukta Mataji, Sweta Mataji, then Ankit Prabhu. Oh, a lot of people are there. I have to leave actually. Yeah, please tell. We'll go in. If Baris is there, we cannot go in boat. There is cover. Then yes, Sanjukta Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. Prabhuji, my question may be invalid also. Prabhuji, I was reading this chapter Sati puts her body, and the next chapter also. There were no quotes from Daksha son. He was completely silent.
Yeah.
In 2 chapters.
Yeah.
Sati was saying twice burned Daksha, and she continued, and finally she left her body. My question is मुझे जनरली जब झगड़ा होता है हम वेट करते हैं कि जो ऑपोजिट पार्टी है वो क्या बोल रहा है तो यहाँ पे तो प्रभु जी पार्ट ऑफ पढ़ रही थी फिर प्रभुपाद बताए हैं कि जो क्षत्रिय होते हैं उनके सामने अगर ऐसा टाइप का अपराध होता है तो क्षत्रियों को चाहिए कि उनका पूरा टांग जो है वही काट कर ले तुरंत लेकिन जो शूद्र में रहते हैं और स्त्री में बिलोंग करते हैं उन लोग को तुरंत बॉडी छोड़ देना चाहिए अपना हस्बैंड का ऐसा इंसल्ट मतलब नहीं लेना चाहिए तो मैं कंफ्यूज हो रही हूँ यहाँ पे दक्षु तो साइलेंट था ये तो एक टाइप का है अपराध लेकिन कुछ
yeah so sometimes when we don't speak to someone who is speaking to us, it shows real neglect. So Daksha actually wanted to really neglect Sati, and that is why he was not speaking, all the while keeping mum, and that's why later on in the purport Srila Prabhupada is telling that at least he didn't speak anything, at least he could have forbade Sati, don't commit suicide, we can discuss later of after the sacrifice. That also he didn't do. And so that was very hard-hearted behavior of Daksha. Sometimes when material enjoyment makes our heart very hard. So when our heart becomes very hard, kathor ban jata hai, patthar ban jata hai, then we have seen the butchers, how in the butcher shop and the bird is screaming and they have no mercy. This just like how they have become very hard-hearted. So the material enjoyment actually makes our heart very hard. So one should understand that Daksha had become very hard-hearted because of material enjoyment, material accomplishments. Okay. So hard-hearted person will not respond. You have seen the butcher is not responding when the bird is crying, the chicken is crying, not respond, just cut it and like he has become hard-hearted, merciless. So like that Daksha had become hard-hearted and merciless. No matter whatever Sati is crying, screaming, whatever he is doing, let her do. Who cares? Insignificant. Like that. Okay? Yes, Ankit Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Yeah.
So you said the point of being like we should be always humble and respectful. So like in the material situation and in general also, sometimes we are in a superior position. And the people who are junior to us, they commit mistakes and there are faults, it's natural. But how we must deal with that? We have to be strict because it is our responsibility to get the job done, to get it ensured. So how do we define the limit of like being respectful also and getting the job?
So this is regards to Vaishnavas or outside people?
Outside people.
Yeah. So in outside people we should follow the principle of Chanakya Niti, Sam, Dam, Dand, Bhed. So we follow this technique in progression. First Sam, fir Dam, fir Dand, fir Bhed. That sort is when people are political outside, they are not devotees, and we are a king. Sometimes there used to be king who used to be a great Vaishnava, like Yudhishthir Maharaj, Arjuna, Bhima. All these are great Vaishnavas. There were kings. And though they were great Vaishnavas, but while dealing with in war strategies, military strategies, they will not follow Vaishnav technique of humility, Trinadapi Sunichena. They will follow Sam, Dam, Dand, Bhed. And that is why a king has to renounce. One may say, oh, king is also doing service to Krishna. Why he has to renounce the position and leave as a sannyasi at the end of the life and then think about going back to Godhead? Because as a king, he has to deal with all these outside people. and while dealing with outside people, he has to follow all these principles which are actually not in conclusion with the Vaishnav Shastras. And that is why we must have a plan to retire from the material jobs, material business after 50, 60 or whatever time we can fix. And we should not even look after job or business after that, because job and business will ensure that we will have to follow Sam, Dam, Dhanda, Bhed, and we have to follow it. We have to follow diplomacy in workplace. We cannot avoid it. We cannot avoid it. And that is why the kings who used to be great diplomats, they would immediately after 50, 55, when the time will come, they will immediately shift all the power to their sons, and then they will leave. Whatever basic savings they may keep, and they may leave. Or sometimes they may not keep that also and just enter the forest. So we must also have this understanding that so long I am dealing with material job and all those things, I have to follow these diplomatic principles. There is no escape. There is no escape. No escape. Only escape is leave it. At one point of time, we must fix that this is the time. After that, I will not work. I will not do any business, and I will simply do preaching and do some service, and like that. Okay, even as brahmacharis, I have seen, because we are taking charge of the institution and organization, and the institution is in material world, sometimes we also have to behave in a particular way which is actually exactly not conducive to renounced order of life. We have to carry mobiles, we have to carry laptops, we have to go in cars and all. These are not proper etiquettes to be followed in sannyas ashram, but when the brahmacharis and sannyasis have to be very, very careful while dealing with materialistic people. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was a sannyasi. Prataprudra Maharaj was a great Vaishnava and he was a king, but Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never met Prataprudra Maharaj, never met. But to run the institution, sometimes our sannyasis and brahmacharis, we are going and meeting CM, PM, ministers, and all those things. One has to be very, very careful. Just to run that institution, we are going, but we should also have an understanding that these are very, very dangerous. Even Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he never met the king. And Prataprudra, when he was dressed in a Vaishnav attire in the Rath Yatra festival, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually met him. So we have to understand that for running the institution, even as a brahmachari or a sannyasi, we are sometimes forced and bound to go and meet these professionals and institutions and all these politicians and kings and big businessmen who are very materialistic. But we have to be very, very careful, very, very careful. Otherwise, we are going to get affected. We should go in a very, very detached manner, and as much as possible try to avoid association of materialistic people. And we should have a plan of how to hand it over to other devotees. That is why a sannyasi and brahmacharis, like in our Dasosmi family also, I do not handle the Lakshmi. The Lakshmi is handled, whoever wants to give donation, it goes. The first thing in 2017 when I started preaching, the first thing I told to Pavan Krishna Prabhu, I will preach and he will take care of the finance. And whoever wants to give donation, I will connect it to you, and you can ensure that it is being collected, it is documented, it is properly accounted for. And whatever Lakshmi is required for the preaching, you take it out, and whatever Lakshmi is remaining, you give it to donation to temple, the remaining Lakshmi. So that is how a sannyasi should understand that he should be dependent on the grihasthas for dealing with finances, meeting with. I have seen my spiritual master, my Radhesham Prabhu. He would not go and meet any minister or anything himself. He would first tell which grihastha devotee is accompanying him to go and meet the minister, and he would just go as a sadhu meet the minister or meet any big person, meet any donor and all those things, or big businessman, and a grihastha devotee should be there with him, and grihastha devotee will introduce him, he will speak Krishna consciousness, and grihastha devotee will ask donation from him, and then the donation will be accounted. So he is completely aloof. So slowly I am also trying to see that how it can be made in our Dasosmi family also. But one should understand that the grihasthas are already dealing with outside people, and they should help the institution in dealing with the outside people, so that the sadhus are completely aloof from the materialistic association. Why in ISKCON our renounced order is facing so much of difficulty? You see the Swaminarayan temples, they have so nicely created a system to protect their sannyasis. Just to give an example, I had gone for a Go Seva Parivar award giving ceremony. And in that award giving ceremony, I was asked to speak about cows, and one Swaminarayan sannyasi also had come to speak about cows, and both of us spoke about cows and protection, cow protection and everything. And after that, award giving ceremony started. And as soon as award giving ceremony started, and then they announced, so immediately the Swaminarayan sannyasi said, I cannot be in the award giving ceremony because some ladies will come to the stage and I cannot be there with the ladies. And this person, the manager, was telling, these are not ladies, these are kids, these are less than teenagers, these are in 8th class, not 8th class, 8th age. Said, no, you can contact our grihastha manager and everything, but this is not possible. And imagine immediately the manager in the stage, he was puzzled what to do. He was thinking, I will give one gift, then that Swamiji will give one gift, then I'll give the next gift, he will give, because then it looks very good. And then the grihastha said, no question, our sannyasis don't deal with money, don't deal with women. We as grihasthas deal with money and women, and we book their tickets, we do everything for them, and they are for our inspiration, and we are responsible for their protection. And then the manager understood that nothing going to happen, and then he announced that Swamiji has got some office work, some work, he has got an urgent call, he has to leave, and this Swamiji, Sri Nitai Swamiji or whatever it is, he is going to give. I said, in our ISKCON, nothing I can give, no problem. But we have to understand this principle, and as grihasthas, all of you should understand this principle. It is your responsibility to protect me. And it is your responsibility to deal with the wealth. It is your responsibility to deal with the woman. All the ladies should be dealt by the grihastha men, and I should deal with the men, and men should deal with women. Those who are married men should deal with women, and married men and married ladies should deal with wealth, so that I do not have anything to worry about wealth and women, and then I can be completely free, and then that renounced order will gain the respectability. And when renounced order gains respectability, grihasthas will respect the renounced order, and they will live in a detached spirit in this world. For the grihasthas to live in a detached spirit, first the renounced order has to remain protected. And it is the responsibility of the, definitely it is my responsibility also, but sometimes being an institution, I am helpless. Why I am helpless? Because all of you are not coming forward to take responsibility. That's why I am helpless. If all of you come forward and take responsibility of the wealth and women of our institution and the properties and resources of the institution, or whatever, at least start from the Dasosmi family, then I am completely free. And then we have more brahmacharis who will join to preach, and it is the responsibility of the grihasthas. And by protecting us, what will happen? You will only remain protected. Like Udit Prabhu is asking that how to understand what is sanctioned, what is not sanctioned, what is the boundary. The renounced order has to tell. But if the renounced order is not protected only, then how the grihasthas will remain spiritually nourished and protected? So it's a big trap we should understand. Running an institution and taking managerial position and institution is the job of the grihasthas. It's no job of sannyasis or brahmacharis. Sannyasis and brahmacharis should remain sadhus. They want mobile, they ask the grihasthas. Even now also, anything I have to purchase, I ask Pavan Krishna Prabhu, ki Prabhuji, I am thinking that we should purchase, and we have made the budget. Within that budget of yearly budget, we spend money. And if anything beyond budget we have to do, I ask Pavan Krishna Prabhu. So one should know that the brahmacharis and the sannyasis should be completely under grihasthas, just like children. Just like children, they ask, Papa, ये मैं खर्चा कर सकता हूँ कि नहीं, ये अच्छा रहेगा कि नहीं, and that grihastha should take that responsibility. Yes, ये कर सकते हैं, इसमें प्रचार में लगा सकते हैं, ऐसे कर सकते हैं, वैसे कर सकते हैं, and they should give more plans कि प्रभु जी आप ये भी कर सकते हैं, इसमें पैसा खर्चा कर सकते हैं, इसमें ज़्यादा प्रचार होगा. Because for me, I don't know how things work in material world. The grihasthas, they know how things are working in material world. I can just be like a cow, giving milk wherever the grihasthas are wanting me to give milk. They want to give milk in one Zoom class, you do Zoom class, inspire them. So that grihasthas should take that matured responsibilities. If they take that, understand, oh, this Das owes my family, preaching and everything, whatever wealth is coming, whatever donations are coming, whatever ladies are there, it is our responsibility to protect. The grihasthas are in charge of wealth and women. Wealth needs protection because wealth is Lakshmi, Narayan's wife. She is also woman only, and woman needs protection. And grihasthas are in charge of the wealth and women. And we see in our ISKCON society, if the grihasthas take this responsibility of protecting wealth and women, and then the sannyasis can be completely free, and they can be also completely free from, because if you have to protect someone in the material world, you have to follow certain material principles. You cannot, like I know I am a manager in ISKCON, I know what it means to become a manager in an institution. If I have to protect the ladies coming to our ISKCON, then I have to be careful who is the man looking at the lady. Is it my job to look at a man who is looking at lady and catch him and tell him? So that's what we have to do as a manager. What can we do? Because grihasthas are no manager in temples. Then the brahmacharis have to be worried where ladies are there, where ladies are congregating, who is eyeing on the lady, who is not eyeing on the ladies. We have to be we are so cautious on the ladies and children who are coming, because so many lusty men come. Nowadays child abuse also has become so common. So we are so worried. As brahmacharis, we are sitting as managers in the temple. We are so worried that who will protect the ladies, who are protecting the children. So, and ladies are also not dressed properly. So these things, recently we got a mail that so many ladies are coming to our ISKCON New Town. They are not properly dressed properly. And we are really wondering who will tell them. Right? Who will tell them? Can I go and tell the lady who is not dressed, please dress? I cannot tell. Security, he is an employee, वो lady उसको ही उड़ा देगा. So we need some ladies who can come on Saturday and Sunday just to tell the ladies how to wear and come in the temple. So in this way, we should understand that in our society, if the grihasthas take these responsibilities, and whenever we take material responsibilities, whether we are taking material responsibilities in a temple as an institution or material responsibilities in outside world, we have to follow Sam, Dam, Dand, Bhed. That's it. If you have to deal with outside world, deal with money, deal with manpower, resources of material world, we have to follow the principle of material world. Principle of material world is Sam, Dam, Dand, Bhed. This is the principle. And it is no business of a sannyasi or a brahmachari to do that. So that is why as grihasthas, you are already dealing with outside world in this way. So it is your responsibility to come and help ISKCON and as an institution and protect the renounced order of ISKCON. That is going to be the inspirational force, the driving force of ISKCON is the renounced order. It's not because I am in renounced order I am telling this. Even if I would be a grihastha, I would tell the same thing. The renounced order is the driving force for the spiritual society. And if the renounced order is protected, the grihastha should think how the renounced order is nourished physically, and the renounced order should think how the grihasthas are nourished spiritually. There is a wonderful story of Ramanujacharya, and he was going and meeting his spiritual master, and he put his dandavat to his spiritual master in hot sand. It was very, very hot. His body was paining, and his spiritual master was not trying to make him get up. So his disciple, Ramanujacharya's disciple, was feeling so bad. My spiritual master's body is burning, and what this spiritual master is not. He was looking angrily at Ramanujacharya's spiritual master. Usko uthao, wo jal jayega. And then his Ramanujacharya's spiritual master was standing like this. He was disturbed, not disturbed at all. Then disciple of Ramanujacharya went behind the body, under the body of Ramanujacharya, to protect the body of Ramanujacharya. And then Ramanujacharya's spiritual master was happy, and he said to Ramanujacharya, I was just testing your disciples, whether you have got right disciples or not to protect you. Now I am sure that your mission, Sri Sampradaya, is going to spread all over the world, because you have got the right disciples. And then he instructed the disciples that it's disciples' responsibility to take care of the body of the spiritual master, do the Deha Yatra. He said that disciples should take care of the Deha Yatra of the spiritual master, and spiritual masters should take care of the Atma Yatra of the disciple, the spiritual journey of the disciple. In this way, as a symbiotic relationship, grihasthas and sannyasis, both will go back to Godhead. It's not that renounced order in the top, he will only go. The entire train will go. It's the engine will go, and along with engine the dabba and everything सब चले जाएंगे. जो भी बैठा है बच्चे गृहस्थ आश्रम में जो बच्चे बैठे हैं वो भी चले जाएंगे. So in this way we should, as all of your grihasthas of our Dasosmi family, those who are attending Bhagavatam class, all of your senior grihasthas, we should really think how we can create a change of protecting the renounced order of our ISKCON movement, and taking responsibility of wealth, women, resources, property, and helping the sannyasis in using those resources in propagating Krishna consciousness. Right? So that the sannyasis don't have to deal with at all any resource of our institution, and they're completely free to preach and propagate Krishna consciousness. Okay. I think we cannot take 2 questions. We have to put it in WhatsApp, and we will answer next class. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Vancha kalpataru vaishya kripa sindhu vyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo ananta koti vaishnav vrinda ki Jai. Vaishnav Thakur ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.